This man did the impossible. He was then working as a newspaper editor in London. Like all people in the world, he also dreamed of building a successful career. But unexpectedly, his dream took a different turn. Suddenly, one day at work, a 10-year-old boy asked him, "Would you like to live on a deserted island?" The person also jokingly replied, "Why not?" It was raining so much that night that he couldn't sleep. Just thinking about that boy. He was no longer young. He was now 40 years old and had no place of his own. Being a bachelor even at the age of 40, he had no recourse. He had no one to lose. By thinking about these things, he started thinking about something else. He started looking for a new island, although his salary was not high. But he had savings that he kept to buy a house. He quit his job shortly after. Farewell to friends. He decides to go on an expedition with his whole life's worth of money. He chose Seychelles for his expedition, whose name was Moi En Island. His location was 4.5 kilometers from an island called Moi En Island. He spent $13,000 to buy this island with a length of 480 meters and a width of 300 meters. He doesn't miss it because the set is cheap. I don't know how many years I haven't set foot on this island. He lives in Africa when out on an expedition, which makes him very brave. There was not even a single coconut tree there when he bought it. Everything was dry. When he arrived on the island, he had only 2 bags. It faces the same challenges that Robinson faced. He built a small house and kept the things he had brought for a year. Gradually, he began to transform the island into a wilderness. A year later, he got an assistantship. His name was Rin. Originally, Rin lived on an uninhabited island nearby. Their work included feeding the birds, caring for the turtles, and planting trees. A decade passed by, and during this time, they planted about 6,000 saplings in Diepta, which is transformed into the living space of numerous bucks. This is much harder to do than to say. Birds are chased away from an island and later come here for shelter and nesting. During this 10-year period, they built 5 kilometers of road on the island, which is enough for a person to live happily. Because he had to suffer a lot on that island in the midst of storms and rains. In disbelief, this incident slowly began to be discussed in the world. Within a short time, he became so popular that reporters would line up to interview him. He did not turn down a single reporter. He did not give interviews to increase his identity. The only reason for the interview was that he loved his island so much. Peace be upon him if he informs the world about this island. His autobiography was published almost a decade later. Sometime after 2007, Robin began living on the island alone when his colleague left. They pressed the island and transformed it in such a way that 2,000 new birds came to live there. Because of their efforts, many almost extinct species survived. It is one of the big species of turtles. The place became so attractive that in 2010, the Saudi prince agreed to pay $50 million for his island, which Joe Pata wanted to transform into a luxury resort. But Robinson rejected the offer. He didn't want the island they had worked so hard to build to become a rich man's resort. He wanted his settlement to become a national park. And yes, his dream came true. It would not be wrong to say that the island is now the kingdom of birds. You can roam there if you want, but you can't spend the night there. You get a short tour and lunch there for just 12 euros. He used the money he got from tourists to develop his country. Robinson died in 2018. He said he had no regrets in his life. He said he would stay on the island until he died, and he did. There are now sightseeing spots including a small museum. A 40-year-old man has created a beautiful island on Earth with his willpower. Friends, today's video is up to now. Like and subscribe if you like the video. May you be a member of our family. Have a nice day.